Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at some of my 12-inch G.I. Joe scuba divers, and these figures have all been customized using figures and gear from various sources. And we'll start over here with this one, and basically this is a Classic Collection G.I. Joe underneath, and the only thing I did to customize the figure itself was I added in this beard that wasn't originally there on the figure. And then in terms of the gear, the scuba suit itself comes from the underwater demolition set. And that set actually came with a harness and scuba tanks that are very similar to this one. But the one you see here is actually from the Danger of the Depths Adventure Team set. It has the Adventure Team logo on the back, you can see, and also includes these orange tubes. So it's a little bit different in terms of the coloration from the one that came with the underwater demolition, and actually came with an orange rubberized scuba suit. But that scuba suit is notorious for disintegrating. Basically, if you have one of those in your collection, mint in box, check on it because it's probably deteriorating right inside the package. Something about the way they manufactured that was flawed. It just sort of disintegrates over time. So I no longer have that scuba suit. It's just basically useless. So I replaced it with the demolition set, and then also the swim fins. I believe this sheath and knife basically all came with the Danger of the Depths set. And that set also included this shark, which is fantastic. I love the size of this, the scale of this, in comparison to G.I. Joe. I'm glad they did it, a very large kind of shark with that set, just because in the past, in the vintage era of G.I. Joe, a lot of times the adversaries, the animal attackers were often very undersized. By comparison to G.I. Joe, whereas this shark is actually of a size that's pretty intimidating. One other item that came with that set was this little kind of underwater sled. And the only thing I'm missing from this is that there was originally a missile right in here, and you would hit this button to launch the missile. So I'm sure I have it somewhere. I just wasn't able to locate it. I'm not really too sure. It's probably in a box of other gear somewhere. But I really love the design of this. I think they did a really good job with this sort of underwater sled. And then over here, we have one of the Adventures of G.I. Joe 2010 sets. Basically, because these were produced in the mid to late 90s, they were sort of envisioning some kind of like futuristic view of things, but 2010 really wasn't that far off, and now it's all in the past. So it's kind of funny that they sort of we're thinking of things being all futuristic basically in 2010. But I do love the design of this. They made this sort of translucent pack, which I think is just an amazing effect. That's really cool. And all the hoses and everything are also in that kind of like translucent color. They do have a tendency to pop out, as you can see. This one sort of popped out of its socket. So you kind of have to put that in once in a while. And also came with this nice spear gun, and also a pretty similar knife to the other set. And also the swim fins are also done in that translucent. And I just have that on a standard Classic Collection G.I. Joe. So really cool set. There were a number of things in that 2010 Adventures of 2010 G.I. Joe series, which were pretty cool. So I collected a few of them and added bits and pieces to some of my Adventure Team G.I. Joes. And then last but not least, we have one of my female 12-inch figures, and this is not a G.I. Joe. This is actually produced by Power Team. You probably know them as World Peacekeepers. Before, a few years ago, when World Peacekeepers were sort of, in their infancy, they actually did some female figures in their line. So that's what the figure itself is. And then most of the gear that you see here was from a line of toys called Get Real Girls. And basically they had a lot of elaborate sort of adventure kind of gear in those sets. Like they had like snowboarding, and this was the scuba diving set. The figures that actually came with those sets, they had some articulation, but they were kind of goofy looking. So I didn't really care too much about the figure, but the gear itself is actually really fantastic. As you can see, there's like scuba tank, this yellow vest, this sort of scuba outfit. And I think I might have added some extra bits here. These shoes, probably these socks. And I think maybe these swim fins might be from 21st Century Toys. So you can kind of like slip them on basically over top of the shoes to sort of add in the swim feature. So that's kind of a cool thing. So you kind of transition the figure from, you know, being on land to being underwater very easily. So I really love this figure. I think basically combining together, you know, the stuff that was made by Power Team with the gear from the Get Real girls actually worked out quite nice. Definitely one of my favorite scuba divers that I have in my collection. So in terms of articulation on these figures, since these two are basically just the standard Classic Collection style, I'm going to refer you to my G.I. Joe articulation guide video on my channel. I'll put a link in the description because it goes over the articulation on this style of figure. And the only difference with the Power Team figure is it's a little bit less articulation at the leg, basically. At the hips, she can kick out, kick forward, kick back, but there's no side-to-side movement, basically. So it's a little bit more limited in terms of what you can do with posing the leg. So there's just a single joint at the knee and single joint at the ankle, so bending back and forth. So you don't get as much posability in terms of the lower body, but in terms of the upper body articulation, you know, at the arms and everything, it's basically pretty similar to Classic Collection style. That's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of my 12-inch G.I. Joes in the future, think about subscribing to the channel because I will be covering a lot more of this stuff in future videos. Until next time, I hope you're having a great day, and thanks for watching.